Now let's go discuss our main focus point for today, and that has to do with the fact that 1 in 5 Americans are doom spending. And this goes back to what I was saying at the top of the show, which is when inflation perks up, the consumer notices, and they tend to hoard in many ways. And that shrinks supply. Then that increases prices. And you have this doom loop, shall we say, in inflation. Now, currently 19%, this is a survey done by creditcards.com. And they showed that 19% of respondents say they're buying significantly more or slightly more. So 5% for significantly more, 14% for slightly more than they usually do because of the Trump tariffs. So people are paying attention and thinking, hey, I want to get ahead of this. I want to buy before the tariffs push prices higher. Now, when you're talking about large purchases, 22% say they're doing it because of tariffs. Actually, they said tariffs had a big impact. 30% said it had some impact. Okay, so right there, that's some or lots over 52%. 22% said there was no impact at all from the tariffs, and 22% said not much. 26% not at all. So over half are buying big ticket items a bit ahead of time in order to potentially avoid tariffs. So that's number one. 4 in 10 Americans are also stockpiling items such as toilet paper, that's 72%, food, 76%, and half are stocking up on medical supplies. 44% are also buying over-the-counter prescription medications as well. Now, when they ask how they characterize their spending habits, they say it is doom spending. 5% says definitely is. 13% say they probably are doing so. That's about 18%. That's about 1 in 5. Now, could this be partisan? We've seen that in a big way. You know, these surveys lean one way or the other and drastically flip as soon as one party's in the White House and not the other. Now, how are they financing this spending, this extra spending, pulling this spending forward? Well, 28% said they're relying on credit cards for most of their purchases. And 34% say they are likely to worsen or go into more credit card debt this year to secure those particular items so that they avoid paying up again, right? A higher percentage, 25% imports from Mexico or Canada, supposedly, and people want to avoid that. They're okay because I rather pay, 10, 15% interest over the next year than 25, 30, 40% more. And remember, when you're looking at tariffs, it's not just 25% because retailers are going to double that. So in many instances, it can be up to 50% higher costs for things that now cost 25% more to import. Okay. So you can use a simple example. Something that used to cost $100 to import, and they'd sell that to a retailer for $200. This is how retail works. And then the retailer sells that to the consumer for $400. That's a typical model for a consumer product. Now, if that goes from $100 to $125 to import, that means they sell it to maintain their margins, they need to sell it for $250 to the retailer, and then they sell it for $500. Okay, so that's how these things can escalate. Okay, and that's what a lot of consumers are trying to wrestle with and figure out exactly whether they want to pull that purchase forward or wait. And a lot of them are pulling it forward, and that exacerbates inflation.